Okay, so here's video number 2, and in this video I'd like to talk about how it's not just where you add the muscle that makes a difference in your appearance, it's what the muscle actually looks like. And I'm sure you've seen guys that are big but have that sort of rounded, poofy look to their muscles. You've seen other guys that are big and have that angular, more dense look to their muscles. Well, I believe that the dense muscular look is the way to go, but you have to be careful of whether you just train for density or just train for size. You kind of want to mix of both, but let me show you pictures first of what I mean by that. So here's a guy that has a lot of muscle mass, but it has that slightly rounded look to it. But here's a guy, in contrast, who has a lot of muscle mass with a harder, firm look to the muscles and more of an angular type of appearance, and that's what I recommend. So let's talk about how to gain muscle density and how to gain size and how you want to kind of balance them both for the best look. So density training is in the lower rep range. The 1 to 3 rep range is pure density without adding size or very little size. If you concentrate in the 4 to 5 rep range, you're going to add density and size at the same time, and both of these ranges are good for increasing the actual muscle fiber, the actual contractile tissue of the cell, not just the fluid within the cell. So the pluses of density training of that lower rep range is that you'll get a dense and angular look to your muscles. The negative is that if you just focus on these rep ranges, you're going to get a really slow increase in muscle size, and the muscles can have that flat look. And if they're too flat, they won't look as defined because you won't get those shadows casted when you're like in decent lighting and stuff, and you'll look smaller than necessary. I mean, you want density, but you want a little bit of size to go with that, like full muscles. So let's talk about making the muscles a little bit more full. So if you want to train for size, the quickest route to do that is 6 to 15 reps. And you want to train to fatigue the muscle in that rep range and not necessarily focus on strength training like you would if you were aiming for density. And this is the rep ranges that cause the increase in the actual fluid within the muscle cell. And that's a sarcoplasmic growth. And the first way of training density was the myofibrillar muscle growth. So you want a combination of both. Because if you train just for size, you're going to experience that rapid increase in size in that 6 to 15 range because the fluid within the muscle cells increase quickly. The downside is if your muscle mass is too much of that fluid, has too much of fluid within each cell, it causes that puffy look. Now, that probably makes sense if you think about it, right? So, like, if a water balloon is really full, it's going to have that rounded type of thing, but if the actual balloon was thicker and had less water in it, it would have a hard look to it. So the best approach is a mix of density training to add hardness and sarcoplasmic growth to make sure that the hard muscles are full. So hopefully that makes a lot of sense. I know I haven't heard a lot of people explain that in detail, and I just wanted to spend a few minutes to do that. The next video I want to show advanced ways to make sure your skin shrink wraps tightly around your muscles and so that it's not loose, because lots of times what happens is that somebody gets low body fat percentage, they lose all the water and stuff, and they still don't have that definition because there's a little bit of looseness to the skin, because the skin lags behind a little bit when you diet down. And I want to show you a strategy to ensure that you get that awesome shrink wrap look, and that'll be video number 3. And thanks for watching this one, and just go down the page a little bit and make sure you watch that, alright?